You are at a place, and now you want to leave. It's a far way home, but you remember you actually didn't walk, you took a ship here. After you figure out how to use the elevator, you get in your ship and now you want to fly. Well, it's like really far away, it's the other side of the planet. So, you go into orbit. Now, how do you get into orbit? Alright, let me show you. I'm going to do this 3 times, and this one is going to be with an almost empty ship. There's plenty of power, and it shouldn't be any issue at all. So, I point roughly at where I want to go. When I'm on the other side of the planet, every direction is right. I point roughly where I want to go. I'm flying up. If you fly up like this and you don't have something like 700 kilometers per hour, yeah, you probably won't even make it that hard. These videos are directed towards newer players for the most part. Okay, so I'm flying up. As I reach 3,420 meters on Alioth, my space engine slowly activates. As I reach about 5,000 meters, I'm out of the atmosphere and this number becomes 0. And when I'm at 6,270 meters, I'm really fully 100% out of atmosphere and I'm now in space. So, but I want to go orbital. What do I do? Okay, let me think. Orbit. That means... let me stop here for a moment. I do want to move parallel to the ground at orbital speed. Alright, so it can't be that hard. Okay, so I want to move parallel to the ground. So I pretty much want to keep my altitude while moving forward and then reach a certain speed. Lucky for me, that line that I activate via pressing X often enough actually shows me roughly where I'm going. And also is going to turn green when I'm orbiting. So I'm just leaning back a bit, leaning forwards a bit and so on. And also trying to keep my altitude steady. And at some point that line goes green. Actually going to decelerate a bit. Oh, there's red again. Okay, so I would eventually crash into the planet. You see how I'm slowly climbing? So I'm just going to accelerate downwards a tiny bit. And forwards a bit. And there we go. So, this is apparently a rather lovely orbit. First of all, my altitude does actually still increase, but just a little bit, it doesn't matter. Secondly, the line is green. I'm apparently orbiting. You can see how I turned my thrusters off. I could now also just you know, roll around in whatever way I want to, and it doesn't matter. I don't have any engines active. I can of course also, I'm getting dizzy. I can of course also leave the pilot seat if I want to. Obviously, please only do this if you actually have some kind of cockpit, and when you leave the pilot seat, you're still on the ship. Also, that is a moment where you, oh no, it's really nice to have a resurrection note on the ship. Because in the unlikely, actually not that unlikely event, that you fall out of the ship, just, you know, you leave the pilot seat and then the ship isn't loaded fully and you fall out or whatever. It's really nice to have a resurrection note because, let me check my inventory is empty, yeah. Because should you fall out, oh no, I fell out, ship is up there, falls respawn. You get the animation now. You know, I need to know the tragic backstory of how I actually exactly died. So thank you for showing me all of that information. And yes, I'm on the ship again. Alright, not that much of an issue that I fell out. It actually slowed me down a tiny bit. So I'm now just going to re-accelerate. Re-accelerate? And there, I'm orbital again. And again, I can now just wait until I'm there. I'm going to speed up the footage a bit. Here I am again. This is an empty small hauler. Currently empty, and I have loads of numbers. I've got plenty of space and upper thrust and brake force and lift and everything. Because this ship is currently empty. Any empty hauler has great performance. Well, if I build. So, I'm gonna do this in the most stupid way possible. Please pay attention. This is the stupid way, and this is something that you can pretty much only do if you're really empty. I'm gonna totally first kill my speed. Just gonna accelerate in the new direction, which to a good degree is downwards. And just rush it where I want to go. kind of ignore the speed because I'm so small that 1,500 kilometers per hour is still not going to be an issue. Okay, I'm going down to 1,200 because I'm a chicken. And now I just go to where I want to go. Cruise control there, cruise control to 1,200. Pointed where I want to go. And then I'm just going to slam the brakes last moment and I'm there. And we're going to do that with a bit more cargo in a moment and with a noob ship. I was given a noob ship. I'm very grateful. It may sound silly, but I've been given a noob ship. By noob ship, I mean an authentic ship by a very new player who built his first ship. So thank you very much for having that. Because to be honest, if I was trying to reimagine what the first ship of a new player looks like, I would likely be unable to do so. So this is, again, very happy. An authentic new ship, a noob ship. Noob is, you know, a new player. It's not meant to be an insult. I should have it here somewhere. It may or may not load. There it is, take 3. I wonder what take 1 and take 2 looked like. I haven't really buffed this, checked this, or anything like it. This is a ship. I'm looking forward to using it for some other tutorial. Let's go, I guess. I'm just gonna reconfigure to get rid of. I don't want to know what's on there. So that's yes, misclick. There, lovely. Okay, so let's go. Oh my. Okay, this is an authentic and new ship. Now, throttle up. I'm going 400 already. This is, again, not carrying cargo. It's just unbuffed and elements placed to some degree in questionable ways. Other than that, it should still do fine. So, I'm going 800, so that is rather promising. If you go up at such a steep angle, that's almost 45 degrees, and you're going 800, that looks good. Now again, my space engines activate. The smallers activate a bit quicker than the others. I do go up to about 5,000 meters, and I then already try to level out a tiny bit. Because again, the goal is I want to fly parallel to the ground. Well, you know, as seen overall, I want to fly horizontally. So I want to fly parallel to the ground. I want to hit orbital speed, which for Alioth is about 3,800, depending on the altitude you're at. And then, as I have that, parallel to the ground flight path and 3,800 kilometers per hour, I want to cut my engines. Aiming slightly up now, because as you can see here, I'm actually losing altitude a tiny bit. So, pointing up a tiny bit. I stop falling now, I get more and more of the orbital effect. Don't need that much up power anymore. I'm accelerating pretty much parallel here. I'm at 7,500 meters, very constant. And goes green, I cut my engines, there we go. Now I am in orbit. So again, I can now marvel at the actually quite nice steering of this thing. Oh no, the roll is horrible, but I like the yaw is quite nice and neutral. So, it is time for orbit number 3. I'm gonna have a look at the numbers. My cargo is 12.5 kilotons. Most I've done in this craft is 14.5, but yeah, it was like super painful. As you can see, my Atmo max thrust is currently on 0.9. Brake force 3.5, low altitude lift 1.5, so yes, I can still hover. High altitude lift still 2.14, which is great. Space max thrust 0.83. Brake force doesn't look that great either, and I technically don't actually have any space low altitude lift, but the engines are angled. You're going to see that in a moment. So this is going to be fun. I may want to get rid of those in flight. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a slower takeoff. This is now a full hauler. Okay, and the same thing would pretty much be if you have an XS core ship with like, well, now 2 M engines and you carry 100 tons, or if you have an L core and you're carrying your 40 tons, kilotons. It doesn't matter. This is just generally a ship that has a lot of cargo. Now, you can see my acceleration is slow but steady. And I'm not going overly steep. I'm going pretty flat here. I know that this angle I am going to reach something like 700 eventually. I might actually pitch down a bit in between so I have enough speed. If I pitch up now hard, if I pitch up hard, that would be a bad idea. It would just stall out. No. What I'm going to do now is, if I'll see I'm gaining speed, I could pitch higher. And if I see I'm losing too much speed, I'm going to pitch lower. I do want to have that speed. I would actually rather like to go about like 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 would be nice if you're really heavy. It depends again also on how many engines you have relative to how many wings you have. On this craft you saw that I only have 0.9 utmost thrust, which is of course perfectly fine for just, you know, flying forwards. I do, however, have 2 Gs of high altitude lift, as in of wing power. Now, given that my wings are strong, but my engines are weak in comparison, I fly somewhat horizontally here, and I will eventually go over the 3420. Thank you. That was just my gyro activating for another reason, which doesn't really matter here right now. I should have taken another craft for this demonstration. Anyway, so my space engines now activate. Ooh, there they are. Lovely, lovely. And I am getting some amount of speed. But it's not like I could just pull up and get out of here. So, I first want to gain more speed. So I'm actually leveling out now. I am still at 3,720 now. I'm actually losing some amount of altitude. Okay, I want to get to... Oh, I am there already, 1,100. And now I want to get out. Get me out of here. The good thing about this setup right now is, as you can see, the space engines actually mostly push up. So they try to get me out of here. My wings, however, are not stalled yet. That is the nice thing about those angled engines. I can have them push me up. So I'm not going faster and faster because they push me forward. I'm going more up and up. While at the same time I don't have to pitch up like 90 degrees. Because that would stall my wings. Okay, I am now up here. I'm still only going 1,300. Now I tried to first of all get a bit higher. I want to have a bit of a safety net there. Well, a safety distance. I am now over 8,000 meters. Alright, I'm leaning forward. I want those engines to actually make me go faster. And this, again, it's going to take some time. This is a heavy hauler right now. But it's a hauler that is heavy because of all the cargo. This is the equivalent of 30 L containers full with ore. So I've got that stuff, but in the other container, the other container is twice as big, the other hub. I got some stuff as well. So yeah, 12.5 kilotons in the little M core here. It takes some time to accelerate. And again, I'm looking at my altitude. I want to have a steady altitude, aka fly parallel to the ground, as I'm reaching something like 3,800. Now the faster I go, the less thrust I need, the less upward thrust I need to not be falling because of the orbital effect. You see I'm actually climbing again now, so I'm leaning forwards again. I want to be parallel to the ground as I hit the there we go, already turning the engines off. I'm actually climbing a little bit right now. It doesn't really matter. I could decelerate a tiny bit, just for the line to go red again. There. I'm gonna come down eventually, and I could then just give it another second of thrust again. Anyway, it's time for the time acceleration. Accelerate the time. Okay, so there are 100 kilometers left. Now, let me check a few things. First of all, do I still have altitude? Well, of 9,500 meters looks fine. I still have speed. Yeah. I can actually just very easily now go back into orbit. Okay. I'm facing the direction I'm actually moving. Yeah, that's given too. Okay, so that looks good. It's 75 kilometers. I'd rather drop out of orbit a bit too early. So how about now? The one thing is, if you're very heavy, you do have to plan ahead, because you can't do any kind of quick changes anymore. And now that I decelerated so much, you see I'm really dropping out of orbit. I will definitely go back into Atmo. So I kind of committed to the whole thing now. I don't know how easily I could go back into orbit now, so let's just say I can't easily do that anymore. I'm falling too much. That also means now that I started braking, I really want to have my finger on the brake a bit more. Because as I go below 5,000 meters, I want to be below 1,000 kilometers per hour. Due to the whole burning up thing otherwise. So, let's decelerate here. As you can see, I'm going something like 45-degree angle down now. And I am in Atmo already, I'm below 5,000 meters. So, I'm very nicely looking the way I'm actually moving. And now I just nose up again. And that is just a very gentle transition from being a spacecraft to being an airplane. Now I am an airplane again. You see that line goes up because my wings have lift. There's still 30 kilometers to go because I dropped out of orbit far too early. Yeah, I'm not very smart. Good. I haven't used my engines yet. The whole landing here did not in any way use my engines. Currently, I'm just gliding. I'm on 1900 meters. I'm gliding. I could actually go the whole 32 kilometers like this, but at the end of it would only be flying at 400. How about I do that and we just speed up the time again? Oh yeah, great idea. Level it up, out, and forward. Alright. I did this a bit more out of principle. I do like gliding, and I just want to show that, yeah, you can just glide forever. I should have probably just had my engines on 5%. Anyway, so 5.5 kilometers to the landing zone. You see that I now really actively go down. I'm even picking up speed again. I'm having a rough look at where I want to go. I think I want to go about there. There's still some hills in the way. I'm still going 500, so I could totally just take off again. I could totally just throttle up and fly. This is too heavy right now for brake landing. I don't like carrying 500 air brakes with me. I'm going to reduce speed to something like 350, 400. Coming in, I could still glide on forever. And you will see I'm holding space. My hovers are going to activate any moment now. Only now that the hovers activate, do I fully decelerate. The moment I activated my brake, I'm still going to 80. I could have actually still pulled up. So, only very last moment, after the hovers on is pretty much my landing gear touching the ground, and only then do I brake, and that is an airplane landing. You have probably already discovered, and like 90% of the player base are doing it like that, that you can just slam more air brakes on and land that way. However, when I do that, I have less fun. Also, you can just carry more if you don't have hundreds of air brakes on you. Wings help you land and take off. Air brakes only allow you to land without having fun. If that's your thing, go get it. I don't like it. Anyway, that is it for the video on how to get into orbit and how to get out of it again.